Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam udirayet nashta prayeshva bhadreshu nityam bhagavat sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki krishnaya vasudevaya devaki nandanaya cha nanda gopa kumaraya govindaya namo namaha. Hare Krishna. So today we are studying from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Does anyone remember last chapter? What did we discuss last time? Or does anyone know briefly what was the, just some high level? Okay, we're studying Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 4th canto. Hare Krishna, आपका स्वागत है. You know Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, have you? Very nice, very nice. So 4th canto, and
his Prabhuji, his friends, and his uncle and fathers.
Ajay, Hare Krishna. So we are discussing Dhruva Mahārāja pastime. Dhruva Mahārāja's father's name is Uttanpad. And last time we discussed chapter 4.8. Dhruva Mahārāja went to the forest. And why he went to the forest? Because he wanted to sit on the lap of his father. And as he wanted to sit on the lap of his father, his stepmother, whose name was Suruchi. So Suruchi said to him, you cannot sit on the lap of your father. Even though you are son of the king, but because you haven't taken birth from my womb, you are not allowed, or you won't be able to sit on the lap of your father. And she said, if you want to sit on the lap of your father, you have to take another birth from my womb. And she also gave a solution, formula in that, in her instructions, in her sarcastic instructions. She said, tapas aradhya purusham, anugrihena eva, tapas aradhya purusham. Go and perform austerity, bhajan karo. Of whom? The Supreme Personality of Godhead. Anugrihena eva, by his causeless mercy. Garbhe me te sadhya atmanam yadichasi indrapasanam. By his causeless mercy, he will place you in my womb. And then you will be able to sit on the yadichasi indrapasanam, if you want to sit on the lap of your father, or if you want to sit on the throne. And that pierced his heart. He went to his mother. His mother told him, my dear son, you should not think bad for others. You should not mind these things. And whatever your stepmother said is actually the right thing. Go and please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is giving everything to everyone. He is the one who is pleased by your great-grandfather. Brahmaji pleased him. Manu Maharaj, your grandfather, also pleased him. So you please him. And that instruction, Dhruva Maharaj took upon his heart. He went to the forest. And he goes into the forest, and then on the way he met Narad Rishi. And Narad Rishi tried to tell him that, why are you going to the forest? You are only a 5-year-old boy. Go back, this is your age to play. But Dhruva Maharaj said, no. All you saying is right, but somehow my heart my intelligence is not up to the mark. I'm not able to understand what you're saying. Please tell me a way how I can please the Supreme Personality of Godhead and get a kingdom which is even greater than my great-grandfather. Who is his great-grandfather? Brahma. His father is Uttanpad. His father is Manu Maharaj. Manu Maharaj's father is Brahmaji, and Brahmaji has come from lotus navel of the Supreme Personality of God. He said, I want a kingdom greater than my great-grandfather. So then Narad Rishi told him, you should go to the forest and you should glorify the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he gave him a mantra, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. He also gave him the instructions how to chant the mantra and in what mood. And then Dhruva Maharaj performed that austerity. And as he was performing that austerity, he became one with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He absorbed himself completely, not one in the sense, he absorbed himself completely into the thought of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And in that state, because he was performing pranayama, he was only breathing after a certain number of days. Because he stopped breathing, then the whole universe started trembling. Whole universe. And it is said that Adharam, how it started, Adharam Mahad Adinam, Pradhana Purusheshwaram. Yeah? That Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the Adhar of this, the creation we have already discussed in previous cantos. But first came Pradhan, then Mahat Tattva, and from Mahat Tattva came various gunas and these 5 gross elements. Like this, all this create. So he is the Adhar of that creation, that Supreme Personality of Godhead. With that Supreme Personality of Godhead, because he became one, Brahma Dharanaya Masa, उसने धारण कर लिया. जैसे आपने वस्त्र धारण किया है. How you have taken on this vastra on yourself. Similarly, उन्होंने भगवान कृष्ण, भगवान वासुदेव को धारण कर लिया. He became one. And if he is not breathing, then everyone else, all the other living creatures, they were having difficulty in breathing. Yeah. And because of that, Traya Lokascha Kampitam, all the 3 planetary systems, upper, middle, and lower, they started trembling. And then demigods could not figure out what is happening. Devta, none of the Devta, including Brahmaji, they did not know what is happening. See, this is the limitation of demigods. Even they have to go to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So they went and they prayed to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then फिर भगवान ने उनको कहा, मा भैष्ट बालम तपसा दुरतया निवर्तयिष्ये प्रतियात् स्वधाम यतो हि व प्राण निरोध आसी उत्तान पादिर मयि संगतात्मा. Then Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhagavan Krishna told them, Vasudev told them, that you please go back to your abode. Ma bhaist, don't be feared. Right? Pratiyat swadhama, you go back to your abodes. Nivarta yishe, I will go and I will ask him to stop this austerity. Right? Nivarta yishe, I will go and tell him to stop. You go back to your abodes. Because, and this situation is because prana nirodha asid. Because this boy has stopped breathing. And who is that boy? Uttanapadir, son of Uttanpad. See, there is no confusion. Very clearly instructed. Because son of Uttanpad has stopped breathing. Because of that, this problem is coming. You don't worry. And how he has stopped breathing? It is not he has stopped breathing. If you stop breathing now, will everyone else be affected? Why?
Not people properly.
Bhakti properly, yes.
Yes.
What else?
Meditating on the.
He is meditating on the Lord. Because the last word in this verse answers this question. Mai san gatatma. Because Dhruva Mahārāja has become one with me. So if we stop, nothing will happen. But because Dhruva Mahārāja was so devoted, because of his austerity, this thing happened. So Bhagwan ne unko kaha ki don't worry, you go back to your abode. I will go now and I will speak to him. Now in this chapter, that chapter was titled Dhruva Mahārāja goes to the forest. In this chapter, the chapter is titled Dhruva Mahārāja comes back to home. So he is coming back. So today we'll discuss this chapter. So we'll take a verse from this chapter. So this is the last verse of this chapter. And this is actually, this verse talks about now Uttanpad going to the forest. Right? So we will discuss what happens in this. So now please repeat. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Atmanam cha pravayasam. Atmanam cha pravayasam. Akalya visham patihi. Akalya visham patihi. Vanam viraktah pratishtha. Vanam viraktah pratishtha. Vimrishan atmano gatim. Vimrishan atmano gatim. Yeah. So, what about a translation? Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. Please repeat. Atmanam. Himself. Cha. Also. Pravayasam. Advanced in age. Akalya. Considering. Visham patihi. King Uttanpad. Vanam. To the forest. Viraktah. Detached. Pratisthat. Departed. Vimrishan. Deliberating on. Atmana. Of the self. Gatim. Salvation. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. Please repeat. After considering his advanced age and deliberating on the welfare of his spiritual self, King Uttanpad detached himself from worldly affairs and entered the forest. Yeah. So maybe one Prabhuji and one Mataji recite the verse, and now you understand the meaning. You understand the meaning of the verse. So King Uttanpad, he himself realized that he's getting age. Pravayasam. You know, Vayask. We all come from Bharat, so you know. Aging, yeah. Vayask. So pra means pratyaksh. Pra is used at many places. Pratyaksh. As in he can see. He can see himself, although we try to hide sometimes, dyeing the hairs, covering this, that. But pratyaksh, aap bude ho rahe ho. That's what Dashrath Maharaj felt. One day when he was sitting in the assembly, he saw himself, Shravana Sameep Bhay Sit Kesa Manahu Jaratpan Asupdesha. जब उन्होंने देखा कान के पास, श्रवण कान के पास थोड़े से बाल सफेद हो गए, तो उन्होंने सोचा ये उपदेश है मेरे लिए कि अब बुढ़ापा आ रहा है. दिस इज द इंस्ट्रक्शन. मनहु जरठपन अस उपदेश. उपदेश मिल गया है ना. तो पहले बाल यहां सफेद होते हैं. नहीं, यंग सफेद, हाँ, शुरू होना यहां से शुरू होता है, मतलब बाकी तो प्रभु सब नो कमेंट, राइट. सब पॉइंट इज उत्तानपाद हिमसेल्फ रियलाइज्ड आत्मान, उन्होंने अपने बारे में सोचा कि मैं भी तो बूढ़ा हो रहा हूं. आई एम ऑल्सो गेटिंग ओल्ड. विमृशन, विचार किया उन्होंने. About himself now he started thinking. We are always thinking how to make our children devotee. Make them devotee, but we forget ourselves. Isn't it? Many times we make this mistake, right? Or unknowingly this mistake happens. So he started thinking himself. Atmanam cha pravayasam. Vishampati, who is the king. He started. Akalya, जिससे आकलन होता है. You know the आकलन? वे अब करना, उसको देखना, अब तो टाइम हो रहा है, नाउ आई एम गेटिंग ओल्ड, यस, अब पैर भी जवाब, घुटनों में भी दर्द होने लगा है, आंखों में भी दिखना कम हो गया है. श्रवण घटो, दृग घटो, घटो सकल बल दे, इत्ते घटे कहा घटो, जो न घटो हरि ने. तुलसीदास जी लिखते हैं, श्रवण सुनना कम हो गया, पैर अभी जवाब चल नहीं पाते हैं, है ना, उठना है बैठना सब कुछ डिपेंडेंसी होगी. दैट साइन. So similarly, उन्होंने भी आकलन किया. अकल्य, विशाम्पति, he was the king. Then vanam virakta pratishthat. He also decided to pratishthat, मतलब he went to the forest. विरक्त होके, एकदम डिटैच होके, he started going to the forest. क्या सोचते हुए? विमृशन आत्मनो गति, मेरी भी क्या गति होगी. Even I have to, one day I have to also leave this body. So with that mood, he started. Okay. Now, as if this is you thinking, please recite the verse 1 Prabhuji and 1 Mataji. You think of your own position and then recite this verse. Imagine yourself in Uttanpad's position, not as a king, as a old man. Okay, please recite 1 Prabhu, 1 Mataji. Please. Atmanam cha bhavasyam. आकल्या विशाम्पति. आकल्या विशाम्पति. वनम विरक्त प्रतिष्ठा. प्रतिष्ठा. वनम विरक्त प्रतिष्ठा. विमर्शन आत्मनो गतिम. विमर्शन आत्मनो गतिम. Okay, 1 Mataji. आत्मानं च प्रवयसम्. आकल्य विशाम्पतिः. वनं विरक्तः प्रातिष्ठत्. Vimrishan Atmano Gatim. Okay, so we all understand the meaning of the verse now. Now let's hear the purport. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. Please hear. This is the sign of a Raj Rishi. King Uttanpad was very opulent and was emperor of the world. And these attachments were certainly very great. Vishampati, Kulpati, Gurupati, Dhanpati, all these pati. So Maitreya Rishi specifically used this word pati. Pati means controller, master. Even he's thinking. Yeah. Modern politicians are not as great as kings like Mahārāja Uttanpād, but because they get some political power for some days, they become so much attached to their positions that they never retire unless they are removed from their post by cruel death or killed by some opposing political party. It is within our experience that the politicians in India do not quit their positions until death. This was not the practice in olden days. It is evident from the behavior of King Uttanpād. Immediately after installing his worthy son, Dhruva Mahārāja, on the throne, he left his home and palace. There are hundreds and thousands of instances like this in which kings in their mature age would give up their kingdoms and go to the forest to practice austerity. Practice of austerity is the main business of human life. Tapo divyam putraka, Bhagavan Rishabhdev tells his sons. Yeah? As Mahārāja Dhruva practiced austerity in his early age, his father, Mahārāja Uttanpād, in his old age also practiced austerity in the forest. In modern days, however, it is not possible to give up one's home and go to the forest to practice austerity. But if people of all ages would take shelter of the Krishna consciousness movement and practice the simple austerities of no illicit sex, no intoxication, no gambling, and no meat eating, and chant the Hare Krishna mantra regularly 16 rounds, by this practical method, it would be a very easy task to get salvation from this material world. Srila Bhaktivedanta purports ki, very nice. I hope everybody understood the purport of this verse. Let's do Mangla Charan and then we will discuss further. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurue Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padkamlam Shri Gurum Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitantam Sajivam Savadetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Shri Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarobhyascha Kripa Sindhuva Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Bhuter Mahadbhir Yaima Puro Vibho Nirmayashete Yadamosha Purusha Bhungte gunansho dashatmakam solank srishta Bhagavan vachamsi me Shri Krishna Sharanam Sharanagatam Katha Amritam Satat Pibatam Bhakti Vedanta Marga Panthanam Sarvalok Rishi Dev Janma Prasannam Sarvalok Rishi Deva Janma Prasannam. Hare Krishna, Prabhujis and Matajis. May the Supreme Lord decorate my tongue. May the right words come at the right time. And may we are all able to truly glorify the Supreme Personality of Godhead, serve Srila Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj, and all the Vaishnavas. Hare Krishna. So, the verse that we spoke about was Uttanpad. Maharaj Uttanpad is going to go to the forest, but the chapter is titled Dhruva Maharaj comes back home. Yeah, he had gone to the forest and now he's coming back. But how he comes back? So let's hear that from who is narrating this pastime? Maitreya Rishi. So let's hear from Maitreya Rishi what he's saying. Dhruva Maharaj, actually my slide, the first that is hidden. So I think I made a mistake. So there are 7 sections in this chapter. So the first part is verse number 1 to 5 is when Supreme Personality of Godhead is coming to see Dhruva Maharaj. Because what did Bhagavan told demigods? That you please go back and nirvatishe. I am going to go and tell Dhruv to stop these austerities because he's performing those austerities. So now the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is coming, right? So after they went there, so it says, now Maitreya Rishi is telling Vidurji that Utsanna Bhaya. Utsanna means they are rid of their fears, all the demigods, because they were scared. Utsanna Bhaya. They felt liberated from the fear because all the 3 worlds were trembling. So they went back. But the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he says, Maitreya is saying that Madhor Vanam Bhritte Didrikshaya Gata. So the Supreme Lord, भगवान अपने भृत्य सर्वेंट को देखने के लिए कहां पे गए? मधुवन. Madhuvan. And where is Madhuvan? In Vrindavan. How many forests in Vrindavan?
7.
12.
12.
Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Vrindavana. Please sing. Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Vrindavana. Shri Govinda Gopinatha Madana Mohana. Shri Govinda Gopinatha Madana Mohana. Radha Kunda Shama Kunda Giri Govardhana. Radha Kunda Shama Kunda Giri Govardhana. Radha Kunda Shama Kunda Giri Govardhana. Kalindi Jamuna Jaya Jaya Mahavana. Jaya Mahavana. And then after this he mentions about the Dwadash Kanan, the 12 forests. Jahan Sab Leela Koila Shri Nandanand. So there are 12 forests and 7 on one side of the Yamuna river and 5 on other side of the Yamuna river. And out of these 12 forests, one of the one is called Madhuvan. So when Naradji met Dhruva Maharaj, he instructed him that you go to Madhuvan. And in the previous chapter, he says, Yayo Madhuvanam Punyam Harish Charan Charchitam. Yayo, he went to Madhuvan, which is Punya, the pious Madhuvan, Harish Charan Charchitam, which has the footsteps of Harish, Hari, Bhagwan Krishna. Jaha sab leela koila Shri Nandana. So that is the piety of the place. So when you go next time, so many times we go to these places, but we don't know. Once there were some rishis, they were taking a bath in Gangaji. Naradji also came there. And Naradji was standing on the bank of Gangaji. He was not taking a dip in Gangaji. And as Naradji was standing outside, Mother Ganga appeared. And she said to Narad, Narad, tum snan nahi karoge? Narad, are you not going to take bath in Ganga? Narad said, no. The Narad saying to Mother Ganga, he said, Amb. He's saying, Amb, oh my mother, Tvad darshanan mukti. Na jane snan jam phalam. He says, my dear mother, I thought by your darshan itself one can be liberated. I don't know, snan se kya phal hota hai. Na jane snan jam phalam. Because so it's a, sarcasm on all of us, because we go and take a dip in the Ganges. How do you take a dip? Do we know who is Ganga? What is the, story behind Ganga? All these, we go to all these places. You say, dubki laga ke bas bahar aa gaye, dubki laga ke bahar har Gange, har Gange. Like this, we just say. But the point is, understand the importance of the Ganga. So that's what Naradji was saying to Mother Ganga, that I thought, Tav darshanan mukti. Yeah. So similarly, Madhuvan. So when you go to Vrindavan next time, develop that bhav. My Lord Krishna walked here. People straight away take a photo on the Facebook. Selfie, okay. Madhuvan. Krishna Balaram temple. Giri Govardhan. Radha Kund, Shyam Kund. Right? So very important, develop that bhav. Yeah. When Akrurji came to take Krishna and Balram, he could see the footsteps of Krishna. As he entered, he saw the footsteps of Krishna and he started crying. He became so ecstatic. Oh, these are Krishna's footsteps. We are not so fortunate to see those footsteps, but at least develop that bhav. Oh, my dear Lord, he walked here barefoot. Isn't it? So that's the mood. So he, Madhuvan, yeah? So, Bhritya, Madhurvanam Bhritya Dirdrikshaya Gata. The Supreme Lord came himself to his servant. Krishna comes. Story about Rukmani Vitthova. Bhagwan Vitthal came to see. Isn't it? What was the name of that? Pundalik. Bhagwan Vitthal came and standing and he's saying, go. He threw a brick. He said, stand on the brick because I'm serving my parents. And Lord is waiting on the doorstep for him. See? So Krishna does come to see his servants. So in a similar way, Bhagwan Krishna came to see him. As Bhagwan came to see Dhruva Maharaj into the forest, now Maitreji is saying Dhruva Maharaj, he had gone into such an advanced stage of yoga. Yoga Vipak Tivraya. Vipak as in ripened state of yoga, mature state of yoga. And Tivraya. Tivra means fully concentrated. He was in that state, he was seeing Krishna in his heart. That bright lightning image of Supreme Personality of Godhead was in his heart. He was fully focused. Now the Supreme Lord is standing in front of him. But Dhruva Maharaj is seeing the Lord inside his heart. Now Bhagavan was thinking, because as long as he's seeing inside his heart, he won't open his eyes and look at me. He won't open and see outside. So the Krishna, then Bhagavan played a trick on him. He disappeared from inside. Tirohitam. He disappeared. He disappeared, and as he disappeared, Dhruva Maharaj became perturbed. He became disturbed. What happened? What happened? And as he opened his eyes, he says, Bahi sthitham tadastham dadarsha. Same tad avastham, the same picture that he was seeing inside his heart, Bahi sthitham, he saw right in front of him. He's seeing Supreme Lord right in front of him now. The 5-year-old boy, he did not know what to do. He did not know what to do. He was just looking at him. And as he saw him, he straightway paid his dandvat. Dandvat vinamya. Vinamya means pranam. Dandvat. He felt on the floor like a rod. And he's looking at the Supreme Lord. He's looking at a propasyan. You know, I mentioned about the word pro. Pro means pratyaksh. Propasyan. Propivan. He is looking at the Supreme Lord, Drigbhyam, by his eyes. He is looking at the Supreme Lord as if propivan iva, as if he is going to drink him from his eyes. And you all have experienced that feeling. When some object that you like, you look at it as if you're going to drink it from your eyes. Right? Maybe some food that you like, maybe some person you like, you just look at them and you want to keep looking at them. And if someone comes in between, you say, no, what are you? Don't disturb me. Right? So that same feeling. He's looking at the Lord in front of him. Bhagwan Chaturbhuj uspe khade hai and he's looking at him. Drigbhyam, both of his eyes. Propasyan, piban iva arbhaka. That balak, arbhak, as if he's drinking him from his eyes. Right? Chumban iva, as if he's kissing his feet, lotus feet, from his mouth. And then bhujair ashlishan. He's looking at it as if he wants to embrace him. See, some mothers, when they look at the child, they just want to, lift him up and embrace him. Same feeling. So he's looking at the Supreme Lord like this. And as he's saying, he's looking at him with that intense gaze. As he was looking at the Supreme Lord, now he stood up. See, he's trying to stand up now. You see in the picture. He's trying to stand up, Kritanjalim, with his folded hands. He wants to say something. He wants to say something, but he does not know what to say. Because 5-year-old boy, what to speak? As you have some senior, officer in your office, you have experience, or king of the city comes in front of you, don't know what to speak, how to react. So Dhruva Maharaj has no clue what to speak, what to say. But Bhagavan, who is Antah Hridi Avasthita, who is inside everyone's heart. He could realize, he could feel that Dhruva wants to speak something now. And as he wants to speak something, he realized that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he says, Brahma Mayena Kambuna. Kambuna is the conch. जो शंख हम लोग बजाते हैं. That shankh is Brahma-maya, is considered to be Brahma-maya. From it, all the Vedas are coming as if. Right? So, Brahma-mayena kambuna. Pasparsha balam kripaya kapole. The Supreme Lord, as this Balak is trying to stand up and he's standing with the folded hands, he wants to speak, then the Bhagavan, he touched his conch shell on his cheek. And as he touched that Brahma-maya conch shell on his cheek, Dhruva also became Brahma-maya. He got all the Vedic knowledge. And we will hear how he's going to glorify the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Right? So this proves that if you're trying to learn from the books, from the scriptures, right? Yes, you can do all of that effort, but ultimately it all has to be sanctioned by the Supreme Personality of God. And if you truly desire to worship, to glorify the Supreme Lord, he gives you the intelligence. Dadami buddhi yogam. Yeah. Bhagavan Krishna says, Main dunga. I give you the intelligence. And this is a proof. 5-year-old child, he will speak now, he will hear his prayers, how he's going to glorify the Supreme Lord. And as soon as that happened, then Maitreya tells Vidurji that he got all the knowledge. He got the words to speak, what to speak, right? And he also got the knowledge. Parignat, knowledge. He got all the knowledge. Knowledge about what? Paratma Nirnaya. The soul and the body. Jeev and Paramatma. He got all the knowledge. Nirnaya, conclusive. He understood, he got all the conclusive knowledge about the living entity and living entity's relation with the Supreme Personality of God. He understood everything. And then he starts glorifying the Supreme Lord. So now let's look at how he is glorifying the Supreme Lord. So he starts speaking, he says to Krishna that, my dear Lord, you are the master of the senses. You have enlivened my senses. Prasuptam sanjivati akhila shakti dhara swadhamna. He says, Prasuptam, my senses, they were sleeping. When we awake, do you think we are really awake? We are sleeping on the lap of Maya Devi. Dhruva Mahārāja is saying, I was sleeping on the lap of Maya Devi. If we think we are not sleeping, then there is, right? So, it's very important to understand. You know? Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Ya nisha sarva bhutanam tasyam jagrati sanyami. What is the night for everyone else? Sanyami, the self-controlled person, his time is to awake. He's awakened at that point of time. So Dhruva Mahārāja is saying, my dear Lord, you have enlivened all my senses. Swadhamna, you are the, first of all, you are the reservoir of all the Shaktis. Akhil Shakti Dhara. You are the reservoir of all the Shaktis. And Swadhamna, with your internal potency, with your own energy, you have enlivened my senses. Right? That is why when we chant Mahamantra, it's not something which is like ISKCON has devised. There is no this thing. When we saying Hare Krishna, Hare means what? Srimati Radharani. Who is the Ahladini potency of Shri Krishna. So we are praying to the Shakti to take us to the Shaktiman. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. That's all. So through that internal potency. But if you desire something else, if you want to activate your material senses, then Krishna's another energy is also there. Right? So he says you manifest things differently by your energies. By your external energy, you manifest this. Mahat Tattva Pradhan, and then the gross elements, the subtle senses, the sense devtas, right? All the demigods inside on our senses, they also have sense devtas. Right? You can't even urinate with your own power. You know that? Varun Devta, who is the presiding deity of genitals. Water also, like this. So all these senses, if someone thinks you are controlling, no. You can't even go to the toilet on your own without pleasing them. And still you fill in this body all the rubbish, alcohol, meat, this, that, so much you put inside this. What about those sense devtas? Are we respecting their position? For certain time, until your piety is there, you are able to, take this bag of stool and urine with you. But after some time, it goes into the hospital. Right? Then they have to put a machine to, get things out of your body. What kind of body is that? Yeah. So that's what Dhruva Mahārāja, see, 5-year-old boy, he understood. So that is the effect of, so he's saying to the Lord that, my dear Lord, you have enlivened my senses. Then look at the next set of prayers. He says, my dear Lord, you are the shelter of the devotees. He says, Brahmaji was totally surrendered to you. Bhavat prapanna. Bhavat means unto you. Because Brahmaji surrendered to you, he was able to see this universe. He was able to create this creation by surrendering unto you. And then he talks about there are different Gyanis, Jignasu, and Arth Bhaktas. They all take your shelter. Chaturvidha bhajante mam janasukritano Arjuna. Right? So Krishna is telling Arjuna that all kind of people come to me. People who are in distress, people who have jignasa, who wants knowledge about me, people who want some material benefits, all of them come to me. But out of them, people who are Gyanis, who wants to know about me, I like them. He's not differentiating. He's not discriminating. He's not, putting someone under. Sometimes we like to complain, but this is what you wanted. This is what you wanted, he had given you. You want dhan, he said, take dhan. Ab samalo. Right? So he says, you are the shelter of devotees and everyone else also. And then he says, also the motivated worship. Or now he is actually started thinking about himself. We'll have a little bit of discussion. I've got a point that I would like to your views. So please listen carefully and start thinking. Now motivated worship means shelter of artharthi bhaktas, people who want some gain. And now Dhruva Mahārāja is pointing fingers at himself. He's thinking about himself, Maitreya Rishi is saying to Vidurji, because he also wanted a kingdom greater than his great-grandfather. So that was his desire, right? He did not worship to get bhakti or liberation. So he's submitting himself first, right? Now he will ask for other things. But he did not ask for bhakti. He was very clear in his desire that I want this. And then he starts saying that, my dear Lord, but bhakti is actually even more superior than Brahmanand and heavenly planets. So Dhruva Mahārāja is saying that, my dear Lord, people who wants to be happy in this body, which is like a shav, in a dead body like this. And how they want to be happy, feel happy, enjoy happiness in this body by the combination of senses and sense objects. That's the happiness, right? Sense wants to see something, so that becomes reason for happiness in this body. Your tongue wants to taste something, you get object of your tongue, and then you like rasgulla, gulab jamun, whatever you like. You connect, you feel happiness about this. So Dhruva Mahārāja is now speaking. See, he's glorifying the Lord, but he's also putting himself under scrutiny. 5-year-old boy. He's saying, my dear Lord, people who consider this body, which is dead, and by the combination, by the connection of sense objects with the senses, as a tool for enjoyment, as a tool for happiness, they are actually making a big mistake. And if they worship you with that mindset, if they worship you with that mindset, then their mati is vimushtamatya. Their mati has been blunted. Their intelligence has been blunted. He says, what to speak of these happiness? The association of your devotees or the hearing of your pastimes, the happiness that we derive in that, through that process, is much greater than getting the Brahmananda Sukha. And what is Brahmananda Sukh? See, this is Dhruva Maharaj. Brahmanas, when people who wants to go and merge in the Brahman. Some people wants to go in the Brahm and they call that Brahmananda Sukh. So he's saying, so please visualize. At this level, he's saying association of devotees, serving focusing on your lotus feet and glorifying your pastimes. That is one level of happiness. Another level of happiness, rock bottom level, he's saying is that by the combination of sense objects with the senses. Another level of happiness he's saying is Brahmananda, people who merge in that. But he says all of these happiness are nothing in front of this happiness, which is derived by the association of the devotees through the bhakti process. Yeah. And he says these heavenly planets, because they are always under the control of time. Ant ka asi lulitat patatam vimanat. So Antka means end, Asi means sword, or Antka also means Kal. Jo Kal ki sword se, by the sword of the time, which is going to be cut, Lulitat, Patatam, Vimanat, so-called planets, so-called Viman, so-called planes of the higher planets that you go, but by the sword of time, they also get cut, my dear Lord. You know when the pralaya happens? When Brahmaji goes to sleep, all the planetary system up to the heaven. When Bhagwan Sankarshan, the fire is coming from his mouth. For many 100 years, the fire is coming and it burns everything down up to the heavenly planets. Everything gets burned down. And then for many years, torrents of rains. And then after that, there is so much strong wind is blowing. Fire, wind, and rain, it comes, and this is called pralaya, when Brahmaji goes to sleep. Right? And all the planetary system up to heavenly planets. What is above Swarg? Mahārāja. Mahārāja. It is said that the heat of the fire is even felt in the Mahārāja. And the residents of Mahārāja go to the next level. Yeah. So now that's what Dhruva Maharaj is saying, that the happiness derived in the association of your devotees and by focusing your lotus feet, this is the topmost happiness. Yeah? Bliss of bhakti. And then then as if Lord is asking him, so Dhruva, what do you want? He says, my dear Lord, I want the association of pure devotees. And then he says, what will you do? He says, in their association, my dear Lord, prasang, once again the word is used, pratyaksh sang. What we are doing is prasang. Satam prasangat mama virya samvido. Bhagwan Kapil Dev, when he told Mata Devhuti, Satam prasangat mama virya samvido bhavanti hritkar rasayana katha tad joshanada shvapvarga vartmani shraddha ratir bhakti anu kramashyati. Yeah. So Bhagwan Kapil Dev is telling his mother that Satam Prasanga, in the association of people who are in the mode of goodness, Mama Virya Samvido. Samvido means two people. You hear, you speak, I hear. I speak, you hear. Right? Prasangat, once again. Pratyaksh. So what we're doing is, this is the Pratyaksh Sangha. Right? In that association, Bhagwan is saying, when they hear my pastimes, my dear mother, by hearing my pastimes, it becomes like Rasayana Katha for the heart and for the ears. And through that process, through the hearing process itself, you don't have to do anything else. Through that hearing process, what happens? Tad joshanad ashu apvarga vartmani. For the liberation. Ashu, quickly. So this becomes medicine for a quick liberation. And the process he's saying is that Shraddha Rati and Bhakti Anukramashati. First, the Shraddha, your faith will strengthen. Just by hearing this process, Katha. Your faith will strengthen. After your faith strengthens, then Rati, you will develop the attraction towards the Supreme Lord. And after your attraction has developed, then Bhakti will automatically develop this process. So that's why Dhruva Mahārāja is saying, my dear Lord, I want the association of pure devotees. And then he says, why do you want association? Then he says, my dear Lord, through the association, I will get the detachment. Because now I have so-called family members and friends and wealth, etc., etc. But through this process, see, you don't have to do anything else. This is a byproduct. But we try to detach first and then hear Katha. Right? We say, पहले घर का काम पूरा हो जाए, फिर कथा सुनेंगे. Right? पहले ये प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व हो जाए, फिर कथा सुनेंगे, फिर कंडीशन रख दिया. Right? We're putting a condition first. But Krishna is saying no. That's why Krishna says to Arjun, what is that famous verse? Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu. Please speak. Mam anusmarana yuddhacha. Mam ev eshi. Mamev. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So tasmat sarveshu kaleshu. Let's focus on this line. Yeah. So therefore, Arjun, all the time, Mam Anusmarana. Remember me again and again and fight. Mamev eshati asamshaya. There is no doubt that you will come back to me. Right? So there is no doubt. Right? So that's why I want association of devotees, my dear Lord, and association gives the detachment. Right? And then he says, your form is supreme. Right? And then Krishna asked him, in what sense you think my form is supreme? He says, my dear Lord, so far I only knew about the material things. I knew about snakes, I knew about animals, I knew about, these living entities. But now that I have seen you face to face in this form, now I realize that your form is the supreme. Whatever else I saw was not real, but this is the real now. I have seen you in true this form. So far, what I saw was not real. Then Krishna, as if Lord is asking, then who am I? Dhruva Mahārāja says, you are the Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. You are same, my dear Lord, when pralaya happens, when all the living entities enter into your body. When that pralaya that I mentioned, when Brahmaji's night happens, all of us, we go into the body of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. Mahavishnu, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, and Shirodakshaya Vishnu. So we all go back into the inside Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. And when full pralaya happens, the whole universe goes into the body of Mahavishnu, Karanodakshaya Vishnu. Right? So this is what Dhruva Mahārāja has understood, 5-year-old boy. So he says, my dear Lord, you are the Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. From your lotus navel, that golden lotus sprout, and from there Brahmaji comes, and then he creates this creation. And then the Supreme Lord asks, and then he also says that, my dear Lord, you go, when the pralaya happens, you go and you are sleeping on the lap of Sheshnag. And then as if Krishna is asking him, well, then what is the difference between me and the jivas? Jivas also sleep, I also sleep. Isn't it? But he says, no, my dear Lord, you are Nitya. You are Nitya Parishuddha Vibhuddha Atma. You are permanent. You are pure. Vibhuddha, you know everything. You are the super soul. Right? Akhand. You can't be divided. Right? Trayam Siddhisha, you are Bhagwan. You have all the 6 opulences. You are the master of all 3 modes. Then Supreme Lord says, okay. Right? So he is now glorifying. Yeah? And then he also talks about the qualities of Brahman. He also talks about the qualities of the Brahman, which is Brahma Jyoti. He says, my dear Lord, Brahma Jyoti, I offer my obeisances to Brahma Jyoti. Why? Because that is also energy of yours, my dear Lord. Even though it has 2 energies, ignorance and knowledge. Why ignorance and why knowledge? Because it gives Brahmananda. So there is some level of knowledge there, and Jnanis go there. But there is some level of ignorance because they are denying the personal existence of the Supreme Lord. So there are 2 conflicting things there. But I bow down to that because that is also your energy. So like this, he glorified the Supreme Lord. And then the Supreme Lord asks him, then Dhruva, what do you want? I will still give you your desires because you had material desires. I will still offer you that. But he says, my dear Lord, you are the Purusharth Murtaya. You are the Purusharth Murti. You know, Purusharth, Dharma, Arth, Kam and Moksha. All these Purush and Arth. Murti. You are the personified of all the benedictions. Even if you want to give me something, but I want your protection first. And Bhagwan asked, what kind of protection you want? He said, I want the protection like a cow. Like a cow is protecting the calf, the newly born calf. Yeah. How a cow is protecting a newly born calf, the cow will give him the milk. Cow will also protect him from the other, wild animals. Cow gets very angry if you experience yourself in the village. If a newly born calf and you try to go close to him, the cow can run towards you if she senses, if she doesn't know you. So he's saying, my dear Lord, yes, now whatever you want to give me, please give me as per your will, but please protect me as well, like a cow protects its calf. Yeah. So that's the second part. Now, Supreme Lord, he bestows the benediction. We have another 15-20 minutes, so we have to go through this, the whole chapter. I always try to, try to condense as much as we can, but I hope I will do justice to the chapter. So the Lord, now after Dhruva Mahārāja has spoken, now the Bhagwan is speaking to Dhruva Mahārāja. Shri Bhagwan Vacha. Bhagwan tells Dhruva, I know. Veda aham. I know. Vyavsitam te hridi. In your heart, the determination I know. And what was the determination? He wanted a kingdom greater than his great-grandfather. The Supreme Lord says, Prayachami, I will give you that. Bhadram te. Even though it is very difficult to, how can he give a kingdom greater than Brahmaji in this universe? But he wanted a kingdom greater than his great-grandfather. So Supreme Lord says, okay, Dhruva, I will give you that. Prayachami. I know the determination in your heart. I will give you that. Bhadram te. May all good happens to you. And then he also says to him, I will give you that, but I will also give you the prem along with prema. Because he is asking for the devotion, but he performed the austerity with a material desire. Yeah. So he said, I will give you both. Yeah. And then he tells him that I will give you a Dhruv Lok, a planet of your own. Right? Which is first time. Right? And he says, before you get your planet, you will rule this planet for 36,000 years. This material planet, you will rule for 36,000 years. So that proves he lived in Satyug for sure, right? In Satyug, people lived for 100,000 years. Then in Treta, they lived for 10,000 years. Then in Dwapar, they lived for, and in Kalyug, up to 100. Not 100. Up to 100. Yeah. I was reading, there was one, recently there was an article. I think some old lady, they're saying she's more than 100 years. And they were all speculating about her longevity, and then you read that article, this is all, and she's talking about, I used to eat this, I eat this has maintained my health. And then you wonder, okay, that's all good, but what is the purpose? What is the purpose? Even the trees live for thousands of years, isn't it? What is the purpose? So that is the whole point. So Dhruva Maharaj, because he performed that austerity, and because he wanted the kingdom, because he wanted to sit on the throne, yeah. So Supreme Lord said that. Now, please hear carefully. I will ask you this question later on. Please hear. Now, Supreme Lord also tells him that there will be a time when during your rulership, Dhruv, your brother Uttam will go into the forest for hunting and he will get killed. And your stepmother Suruchi, who is Uttam's mother, she will go searching for him. And she will be devoured by the forest fire. She will get killed in that. Right? And then he also says that will happen. Now, Supreme Lord is giving him, speaking to him. It's one-way communication. Lord is speaking to him. Lord is telling, this will happen, this will happen. And then he says, you will rule for such a long time. And then he says, you will perform great sacrifices. Right? We discussed about the sacrifices during the Daksh Prajapati episode. Right? The importance of sacrifices. What is the purpose of the sacrifices? Right? All of that. Yeah. And then he said, you will also enjoy. Right? You will enjoy the kingdom. And then he says, Ante Mam. Right? But at the end, Dhruv, you will remember me. See, this is the greatest benediction. At the end, when the end comes, Dhruv, you will remember me, you will enjoy, you will perform sacrifices, you will rule for 36,000 years, but in the end, you will remember me. What else one can ask for? So these 36,000 years are for him are like a holiday in Europe. His ticket is fixed now. His ticket to Golok is confirmed. Right? Now he can enjoy it. Right? But let's hear what Dhruva Mahārāja has to say. And having gone to Dhruva Loka, you will not return. What else? अब तो पक्का है जाना. अमेरिका का वीजा लग गया है. अब आप जो मर्जी करें. Back in India, how we used to feel. You all remember when your PR got stamped and then you were like, okay, now PR मिल गया, अभी 1-2 महीना छुट्टी मनाते हैं. But how long? यहाँ की क्या मिला? So that's something to think about. So having gone to Dhruva Loka, you will not return. The Lord now departs. Now Dhruva's regret. So this is Maitreya Rishi is telling Vidurji. Dhruva's displeasure and Vidura's inquiry about it. Now Dhruva becomes, he is not pleased about the benedictions. In his heart, he is very unhappy. Right? So first of all, now you all tell, why do you think, why was he unhappy?
Higher taste.
Because he got the higher taste.
He didn't ask for the highest test or highest objective.
Well, he did ask.
He asked for different loka and all this is fine, but he didn't ask to go into the Goloka and serve Lord Krishna.
No, he asked the association of the devotees. He's saying that I want to remember, Tav Katha Amrit Pan Matta. He's saying I will become mad by drinking the nectar of your pastimes. Okay, hold on. I really wanted to start thinking. Hold on. Maitreya Rishi will answer this question. Right? Vidurji is going to ask the same question. That Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sudurlabham Yat Parmam Padam Hare, which is so difficult to attain, he got direct darshan of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Dhruva Maharaj is telling himself that I got the darshan of Supreme Lord within 6 months. The 4 Kumaras, they have taken many births. Yeah. They have taken many births to get darshan. Within 6 months, I got into the shadow of the feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yeah. He says, I have attained the rarest, but I fell. And he says, demigods bewildered my intelligence. Which demigods? The sense devta. He says, because demigods know that their position is temporary, they became envious of me. You know, Adi Daivik Tap, one of these 3 taps, Adi Daivik, Adi Bhautik, and Adhyatmik. Adi Daivik taps, they are always there. Yes, demigods for now, they don't even care about us because they know they're all rascal. We are all no good, nothing. Right? What is our sadhana? Nothing. What kind of austerity we are performing? Nothing. It is says that up to when Parikshit Maharaj was ruling, demigods would come on earth. Ab to aate bhi nahi hai. Because no one. In your yagna, you call Indra, come, you know how you doing some sacrifice, like Krishna asked those, in Vrindavan, when he did the Govardhan Leela. Did Indra come, ever come? He was not coming then. When Virijvasis were inviting him to accept their offerings, do you think he will come for you? Right? Do you think they are our true well-wishers? So in that sense, Dhruva Maharaj is something to contemplate and think about, these sense devtas. Like I said, forget about respecting them. We are abusing them. If somebody is smoking, somebody is drinking alcohol, somebody is doing all these things, you are abusing them. They are waiting for time to revenge. They are saying, ये तो already मरा हुआ है, इसको क्या मारना है अभी? अभी क्या मारेंगे आपको? उसको पता है इसका आगे का इसका रास्ता तैयार हो रहा है. They know he's ready. It's like butcher house. You know, in the queue, the goats are going, so we are ready to be butchered by Yamraj. Antakasi, the sword of Kal is waiting. So something to think about. Our body, that is why it is called, this body is a temple. Because the sense devtas are there. If you don't recognize their presence, you see, the time will tell. The time will tell. Yeah. So he's saying these demigods, they bewildered my intelligence. It happened to Dhruva Maharaj, what to speak of us. And he says, under the influence of Maya, I prayed for useless things. Kachartha vismritam ratnam. Yeah. What is that bhajan? Aho dukkham mahadukham dukkha dukkha taro yatha kachartha vismritam ratnam harer namev harer namev harer namev kev. कांच के टुकड़ों के लिए कांचार्था विस्मृतम रत्नम. I forgot the diamonds, I forgot the gems for the broken piece of glass. ये सबसे बड़ा दुख है. अहो दुखम महादुखम. दुख ये नहीं है कि टाइम पे हमने कहीं पैसा नहीं लगाया. दुख ये नहीं है कि टाइम पे अमेरिका का वीजा नहीं मिला. ये दुख नहीं है. दुख ये नहीं है कि पासपोर्ट की फीस बढ़ रही है 1 जुलाई से, पासपोर्ट टाइम पे रिन्यू नहीं किया. ये दुख नहीं है. ठीक है, टाइम पे हो गया, ठीक है. But you understand my point? What we are stressing about, it does not mean you become careless. Prabhupada was very particular. We should not become careless in our duties. But understand what is real dukh. तो वो दुख की बात हो रही है. अहो दुखम महादुखम दुखात दुख तरो यथा. कांच के, ये दुख है सबसे बड़ा. कांच के टुकड़ों के लिए विस्मृतम रत्नम. That is the biggest दुख. हरि हरि विफले जन्म गो आइनो मानुष जन्म पाया राधा कृष्ण ना भजिया जानिए सुनिए विष खाइनु. हरि हरि बिफले जन्म गवाई, ये दुख है. So something for us to take away, right? So he's saying he's very unhappy. And he says, people who taste the lotus feet don't ask for material things. Right? But I ask for material things. And then during this, Vidurji asking the question, like I said, Vidurji also asked this question, Vidura's inquiry about it. So then Maitriji responds to that question, that at the time of asking from the Supreme Lord, at the time of asking for that, please give me association of your devotees, please keep me in the shelter of your lotus feet, he still remembered. He still remembered what? Vagbaneir. Matu sapatnaya vagbaneir. Vidhastu tan smaran. This is the answer. Matu sapatnaya. Stepmothers. Vagbane. Unke jo vagban the. The arrows shot from the tongue of his stepmother. Tan smaran. He still remembered that. And Supreme Lord told him very clearly, Veda aham, Vyavsitam te hridi, your determination, I know in your heart. No matter how much you tell me, Prabhu, no, mera dil saaf hai, I'm so clean. Dandat pranam and I'm your humble servant, this and that. But in your heart, witness is sitting there. He's noting everything. He's writing down. So Supreme Lord knew in your heart. That's what Maitriji is saying, that at that time of asking the boon, he still remembered. Even though he did not have any ill feeling, he still remembered that they had spoken that about him. And that is why he's lamenting. Because you remember Naraji had told him? Naraji had told him that, Dhruv, this is not your age. You should not care about these things. You are a child, just go and play. And he did tell him, go, and when you are mature, then you can go and perform these austerities. But he said, no. And then Naraji then told him, okay. He said, he actually glorified the Kshatriya blood. That they can't even tolerate such a small insult, right? That they are so great Kshatriyas. So the point is, Prabhuji Mataji, now there are two sides to it. Yes, Dhruva Maharaj is lamenting. He remembered that. So now one is mechanically we can try our brain to start forgetting things. Mechanically, but it doesn't work. If they still stay in our subconsciousness, what did he get? He still get prema of the Supreme Lord. He still get a benediction that he will go back to Godhead. The Supreme Lord still tell him that you will never have to come back. The only thing is, Dhruva Maharaj says, I expected the Supreme Lord will come and take me with him. He did not take me with him, but he is given to stay here. Now his stay here itself, he is considering that as a punishment. Otherwise, his ticket is guaranteed. The Lord has told him, you will come to me. Right? So not too concerned about too much. If some thoughts in your subconsciousness are still polluting, are still staying there, not to be concerned. The key point is we get the association of the devotees. We chant the holy names, right? These things will go away as a byproduct. Mechanically trying to forget and erase, it will not happen, right? The more you try to erase, the more it will come. Once one boy, he went to some sadhu and he said, Sadhu ji, मुझे कुछ बहुत परेशान रहता हूँ, concentration नहीं होती है, क्या करूँ? उसने कहा ऐसा करो, रात को सो, when you sleep, stop thinking about the monkeys. After a week, he goes back. He said, what happened? He said, Sadhu ji, जब से आपने बताया है, सुबह शाम सारे दिन monkey, I'm always seeing monkeys. The more I'm telling my brain not to think of monkeys, the more and more monkeys are coming to me. Right? So that's the thing. So now let's just continue. So that's the important takeaway, right? I hope you all have caught this. This is very subtle. You caught the point? Don't try to mechanically erase these thoughts. They will automatically go away. Automatically go away when we perform the devotional service in the association of devotees. By thinking of the lotus feet, they will go away. Yeah, okay. Now, Dhruva Maharaj is coming back. Uttanpad receives the message. He was informed that Dhruva is alive. He's coming back. So it says that Uttanpad thought he would have died by now because he went to the forest. But then he remembered words of Narad Rishi. You know, Narad Rishi had gone and told him. Narad Rishi had gone and told him that he is safe. Devaguptam. He is protected by the secret energy of the Supreme Lord. Naradji had told him. So, no problem. So, Uttanpad remembered that. And then Uttanpad was thinking in his mind that I was so careless. I'd almost lost hopes to get my son back. But he starts going to the forest now. And the messengers, he gives them the gift and etc. And even the Suruchi, and then Suruchi, Suniti, and Uttam, they all get into the, into the, what you call?
Forest procession.
In the procession, yes. They all get into the procession to receive Dhruva Maharaj. Suruchi is also going there. And as Dhruva Maharaj is coming, then Dhruva Maharaj, he pays his dandvat to everyone. He pays his dandvat to Uttanpad. Uttanpad embraces him and says the tears are coming from his ears. And with those cold tears, he bathes Dhruva Maharaj. So there are two types of tears, cold and warm. When you are happy, the tears are cold. When you are distressed, the tears are warm. I don't want you to try. You can try the happy one. Don't try the warm one. Yeah. So he bathed him. And then Dhruva Maharaj, he paid his obeisances to Mother Suruchi, his stepmother. And Suruchi also then blessed him. You may long live. Chiranjeevi Bhav. Same Suruchi who was saying, if you want to sit on the lap of the king, you have to take birth from my womb. But that same instruction became a boon for Dhruva Maharaj. And then she embraced him. And then Maitreya Rishi tells that Yasya Prasanno Bhagavan. Yeah, very important point. For whom, on whom the Supreme Lord is pleased. Yasya Prasanno Bhagavan. Right? And how? Guner Maitreya Adibhir Hari. God is pleased with you because you have a friendly, you have a vatsalya, you have a madhurya, any kind of relationship with him. All these qualities. Yeah. Tasmai namanti bhutani. All the living entities then pay obeisances to him because the Supreme Lord is pleased with him. Tasmai namanti bhutani nimnam apa swayam iva. Jaise jal, how the water naturally flows from height to high point to the low point. Similarly, naturally, you don't have to ask for respect. Naturally, they respect you. Naturally, the respect will come. Ja par kripa Ram ki hoye, ta par kripa kare sabko. On whom Lord Ram is pleased. You know that famous pastime, Akbar, Mahārāja Akbar, Badshah Akbar. I tell you, maybe I take another 5 minutes. Once there was a death. Once there was a death in a village, and husband died, and wife was going to enter into the fire. And they told that lady, you should go and take blessing from everyone around. And as she was instructed, Tulsi Dasi was walking from there. She also went and paid her obeisances to Tulsi Dasi. And Tulsi Dasi told her, Saubhagyavati Bhav. And then they said, Tulsi Dasi, how can you say that? She's a widow. Now you have to uphold your words. And then Tulsi Dasi was thinking what to do. So he told everyone, okay, you close your eyes. And he went to the dead body. And he spoke Ram mantra. He told everyone, you should close your eyes. He spoke Ram mantra, and that dead body, the man became alive. And one person still did not follow the instructions. He opened his eyes, he became blind. But that dead man became alive, and the news went to Badshah Akbar. And then Badshah Akbar invited Tulsidas in his assembly. He said, I know you are a miracle man. Show me some miracle. Tulsidas said, no, I can't. I don't do any miracles. People just talk like this. He said, no, show us some miracle. Tulsidas said, I don't know. And then he said, put him into the jail. Says the jail was in Fatehpur Sikri. He was put in the jail there. He was put in the jail there, and then Tulsidas ji, when he was in the jail, he started writing Hanuman Chalisa. And as he concluding writing Hanuman Chalisa, thousands of monkeys came. Thousands and thousands of giant monkeys came from nowhere. And then Badshah Akbar became bewildered. What's happening? In his garden, to his queens, wherever they go, and the monkeys come and start doing their things. And then Akbar had a minister, his name was Todramal. So Akbar asked him what happened. He said, please release. This is the miracle. Please release him. Right? And then he was released, and then he instructed everyone that please, everybody should respect Tulsidas. And then it is said that Tulsidas, he started crying. He said, my dear Lord, same king who put me into the jail, just because of your name, now everybody is respecting me. Tasmai namanti bhutani. That's what Maitreya Rishi is telling Vidurji. All the living entities, they bow down to him. Yeah. So Mother Suruchi, she also blessed Dhruva. And then Uttam and Dhruva, they embraced each other, brothers. And Suniti, who is his mother, she also came. And all the people from there, they were praising Suniti. And then Dhruva Maharaj came and he started living with his father in the palace. And he grew up to be a handsome, beautiful, strong boy, very intelligent man. Everybody loved him. Everybody appreciated his behavior. And then King Uttanpad, he consulted people on those people, they were called Amatya. He consulted them. He asked the citizens. He himself could see. Right? And then he decided to enthrone Uttanpad. Uttanpad enthroned Dhruva Maharaj as the king of the Brahmand at that point of time. He became the king of the whole earth, earth planet. And that's when now Uttanpad started thinking about himself, which we all need to start thinking about ourselves, right? Yatri apne saman ka swayam zimmewar hai. Before you put other seat belt, please put your own seat belt, right? Right? Atmanam cha pravayasam akalya visham patihi vanam viraktah pratishthar vimrishan atmano gatim. Yeah, so we all need to think about the gati of our own soul, right? So we'll stop here now. Thank you, Prabhuji and Mataji. I hope that point you will all take away why Dhruva Maharaj was not happy. Yeah, it was the reason. Okay, any questions or any comments before we stop? Jai Sima Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Prabhu, thank you for joining. We are stopping now. We'll be doing Aarti.